If you've watched some of my previous videos, you'd know that I'd suffered from morning anxiety for a few years before I started medication. This all started to turn around and get better when I realised the power of a morning routine. In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 steps you can take every morning to reduce your anxiety. Trust me, follow this and it can change your life like it's changed mine. Hi, my name's Rishi and I make videos around mental well-being, mindfulness and how to be the best version of yourself. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. You can follow me on Instagram at @rishikumar_. If you're new to this channel, welcome. Please hit the subscribe button and get notified every time I post new videos. I also like hearing from you guys, so please leave a comment or reach out to me via my DMs. I was a big time sufferer of morning anxiety. It would hit me around 5 o'clock in the morning every single day. I'd lay awake trying to fall asleep, but the sensations were excruciating. I've actually never been able to put that feeling of anxiety into words. So when I talk about it, I find it really difficult. And if you suffer from anxiety, you kind of know what I mean. It's like you just don't know how to explain what your body is going through at that time. So having not then been able to go back to sleep, it would take me a few hours every single morning to like get into a state for me to kind of be able to tackle the day, think about like getting myself ready. And the thought of going to work would just make things worse. One of the game changers for me was working on a morning routine, because I realized very quickly that even though I was taking medication, I needed to do something every day to calm myself down. So I really want to share this with you because it has changed my life. And if you are on sertraline or Zoloft or an anti-anxiety medication, you'll know how important it is to practice mindfulness whilst you're on these tablets. If you stick around to the end of this video, I'll tell you where you can get a link to download a PDF I've put together of my morning routine, and it's a template that goes from Monday to Sunday, and you can use it to start your morning routine. So let's jump straight into the 5 steps. Step 1, give yourself at least an hour between getting up and having to start work. So if you're working from home at the moment, you know, before you open your laptop or before you have to leave the house to go to your place of work, give as much time as you can, at least an hour. You're probably thinking, Rich, I don't have an hour or any time to, you know, put aside before I start work because I've got kids and I have to get breakfast ready, or, you know, I need, you know, as much sleep as I can get. But this really boils down to discipline. Like if you know that you need 8 hours sleep, count back from the time you have to get up and make sure you go to bed at a certain time so you allow yourself that 8 hours. We're going to have to make some changes in order to improve our health. The more time you allow yourself, the easier it's going to be to get into a state for you to tackle your day. So step 2 is a non-negotiable. Like if you're not going to follow step 2, I would say don't even like bother continuing. And that is not looking at your phone when you wake up. I can't stress to you how important this step is, because the problem is that we are likely keeping our phones by our bedside table, or some people sleep with their phone. I mean, there are times I wake up and the phone is in my bed. So I understand, you know, how attached we are to this device. But the problem is that as soon as you look at your phone, opened yourself up to outside influences that start to take over your mind and your thoughts. These are things like notifications, messages that you've received overnight that are unread, emails that have come in overnight. These are all distractions that create more thoughts that ramp up your anxiety. And it basically prevents you from having a clean slate when you wake up first thing. It will consume what could be a peaceful morning that you could utilize for your own self-care, and which will allow you to be introspective. So like, trust me on this one. The first thing you do should not be looking at your phone. Step 3 is to find a suitable space within your flat or your house. This is such an important step because this space is going to be where you go every morning to do the rest of your morning routine. So grab a hot drink and get comfy in this space. Take a few minutes just to think. Look out at the sky if you can. Feel the warmth of the cup in your hand. Be really present in this moment. You might even be processing some dreams you had the night before. Now, I appreciate you might not get the space to yourself and it may not be quiet in your house, and let your family or your housemates know how valuable this time is. So you would really appreciate if they don't talk to you, because as soon as they start talking to you, their thoughts and their emotions and their feelings start influencing you. And if it's not quiet when you wake up in the morning, because I can appreciate not everyone lives on their own, and some mornings in some households can be quite a frenzy with getting kids to school, or, you know, partners, you know, getting ready for work, or just family. Everyone's kind of doing their own thing. Stick on a pair of headphones, put on a calm playlist on Spotify or YouTube. Use what you can to create that space of calm. I wouldn't listen to music with like words and things like that, or put the radio on, just something in the background to drown out the background noise. So step 4 for me is probably the most important step, and that is to do your morning exercises. And at this point, you could also do some breathing exercises if you're into that, and that could be a whole breathing routine that you might, like practicing, or it could just be really simple, like take 2 or 3 deep breaths in and out. And it's just really to help you be conscious of that and aware of that and just like calm yourself down. Like this whole process is just about calming our systems down, because what's happened is like the anxiety's kind of really ramped us up. So this is just about like you telling the anxiety like you're taking control. Step 4, I think, is like the most important part of this morning routine, and that is doing your mind exercises. So my mind exercises comprise of 3 things. I tried a range of things before I realized what worked for me. So I've tried bullet journaling, I used a 6-minute diary, I've used apps. I mean, I've tried a whole load of things, and what it boiled down to for me was 3 things. The first thing is practicing gratitude. Initially, gratitude for me was like this thing where, you call up a friend and you thank them for, making that meal last night, or, you go around telling people how grateful you are for them. And actually what I realized very quickly that it was the complete opposite. It had nothing to do with anyone else. This was you like talking and reflecting with yourself and understanding what those things are that you appreciate. And having come from a place where I was very negative and very, unoptimistic, it really helped me start thinking positively about those tiny things that every day made the slightest difference. And that could be your friend that made you that really nice meal the night before, or that could be that person that checked in with you. And it could just be really simple, like just being appreciative that you are in a house that's warm and cozy and you have a roof over your head. Gratitude has to come from very deep within you. So when you're practicing this, try and feel it. Like really, like it could be the smallest thing, but when you're saying it, really feel that you are in that mode of like appreciation. And what I normally do is I'll look out the window and I would talk to the universe or the sky, and you're just kind of just putting it out there in the world, because I do believe that sometimes when you put good thoughts and good intentions out there, it's not just to benefit yourself, it's like it benefits other people, right? So this step is this is I think one of the things I enjoy the most about my morning routine, is just that reflection on really what is like. Yes, I want money and I want a good job and I want all these other things, but actually what have I already got? I think sometimes we focus too much on what we don't have, and this flips things around completely. The second thing I always found really challenging, and this is writing down something that you're going to achieve today. The purpose of this is to commit yourself to one thing, like one thing that you're going to do today, that at the end of the day, when you're like, before you go to bed and you think, oh, what have I done today? There is that one thing that you achieved. And this could be as small as saying, right, today I'm going to call mum or dad, or I'm going to pick up the phone or WhatsApp, a friend, and it could be just something really simple like that, that when you go to bed, you think, oh, I really enjoyed talking to that person, or I'm glad I called or reached out to that person. It could be committing to going to the gym. It could be that you've got a meeting that day and you need to nail this meeting, and you say, right, today I'm going to do the best I can. So what is that one thing that you're going to achieve today that you can look back at in 10 hours and say, yeah, my day was productive. I didn't feel great otherwise, or, everything else was kind of a bit shitty, but that one thing I achieved today and I feel good about that. And actually that's one thing that I've done, and I can go to sleep feeling like at least something was achieved today. So the last thing I do for my mind exercises is journaling. Now, when I first got introduced to journaling, I thought there is no way I'm going to sit there every single day and write a diary entry, talking about my feelings and, whatever else people write in their journals. But actually what I learned very quickly was it was actually a really different process. Now, the power of journaling is, for me, and how I do it, is an opportunity to declutter my mind and my brain. So what I do is I get a blank piece of paper, put the date on it because I do this every day, and I'll write whatever comes to mind first. So this will be feelings, thoughts, ideas, Like whatever in that moment I'm thinking, how I feel, what things are going on, like anything, just write it down. I don't worry about grammar. I don't worry about punctuation, spelling. I don't worry about my handwriting. I literally just write anything that comes to mind. Now, what you're doing here is you're decluttering. You're getting rid of these like excess thoughts that are lingering around. You're just kind of like dumping everything. It is literally a brain dump of what you're thinking at that time. And, you know, writing things down like, okay, right, actually I'm feeling a bit, you know, scared today, or I'm feeling a bit uneasy today, or, you know, I'm really excited about X or Y. Just literally spend 5 minutes, you know, don't sit there thinking too hard about it. Just literally jot anything that comes to mind down. And you'll realize how valuable this is, because what you're doing here is you're allowing yourself to start your day clean. Like, so anything else that comes after this, it's all just like new thoughts, new things, you know, otherwise it all just kind of piles on top of each other. So it's like a clear out of your brain before you start adding more shit to it. So for step 4, I've actually created a PDF for you guys to use. And this basically has a template of the 3 exercises that I do every morning that have helped me. And I've broken it down from Monday to Sunday, so you can print it out or just use it as a guide. I would use it, I would try it and like use it and then tweak it to see what works for you. But for me, like, I really wanted to share this because these exercises have really like changed things up for me. And it was like committing to practicing this every single day that was really helped, because what you do is you start to form habits. So step 4 is super important, and everything else before step 4 is to get you into a position to be able to practice step 4. So have a look at the link, it's in the description box, and for each step I've given examples just to help you guys get started. So I'd say step 5 is like my favorite, and it's like by this point I'm like, oh, like I've got through most of it, and you know, this is like the fun bit. And that for me is like reading something thought-provoking. And this, like, I'm not someone who makes time in my day to read. Like, as much as I love reading books, it's not something that I prioritize. So the tip here is to read something mindful or thought-provoking or calming. This could be a self-help book, or a book on personal development, something that's going to like get you thinking, something that you can absorb. Because at this time, what you've done is you've just like decluttered everything. You've not got any external influences, and we're just like this sponge. So I would avoid novels here, but, you know, pick up something that you would like to get through, where you might learn something about yourself, or, you know, how the brain works, or, you know, I mean, I don't need to tell you, there are hundreds and hundreds of self-help books out there that are written in a way for everyone. It could be something motivational, like, you know, public speaking, or, you know, how to, you know, I don't know, be better in life. Whatever those things is, just make sure it's like mindful, thought-provoking, you know, it's calming, so not too distressing. And after I've spent about 10 minutes, maybe 5 to 10 minutes reading, you know, a book or something, I then like put that down and I pick up a magazine, and, you know, generally the magazine is like something around a hobby. So it could be like a cooking magazine or a cookbook even, you know, something that's just fun and creative. I like reading about gardening and like gardens and flowers and plants. So I like subscribe to a garden magazine that's just like, it's just full of like really like aspirational pictures and stories of people who've done their gardens. Like whatever this may be, don't like pick up a gossip like magazine or like a celebrity magazine or something like trashy. Like do something, like pick up something that's going to make you feel good and like lift yourself up. Avoid newspapers, you know, any like negative, you know, outside external information. It's just not the time for it. So like this is like your time, like this is self-care. It's your time to like, you know, spend on yourself, like lifting yourself up, filling yourself up with creativity, you know, like investing in something that you enjoy. Maybe do a puzzle for 5 minutes, like whatever it is, like just spend this time for yourself. So those are the 5 steps. But then like the final thing I would say is like, you know, go and get yourself ready, like have a shower or a bath, take time in doing that. Like be mindful when you're having a shower, because like for me, like showering, like when I have a shower is like when all my ideas come to me. But it's like the process of getting ready is also in itself can be something that's mindful and therapeutic, like putting on something nice, like, you know, using like a really nice like shower gel or whatever it might be, you know, Make sure you have a really good breakfast. Like, you know, all this time is to invest in yourself, you know, so allow yourself a really good breakfast, or, you know, something that's going to make you feel good, something healthy, or, you know, whatever it might be. So I do all of this before I do some sort of physical activity. I know some morning routines that have, like, you know, running or jogging and things, and that is also part of my morning routine, but that comes after I've had like breakfast and I've got myself ready. So this process is really to help reduce the anxiety, calm yourself down, prepare yourself in the morning. Because for me, it took me like 2 hours sometimes to get myself in a state where my anxiety was under control. And, you know, it wasn't until I started like physically doing things to bring myself into a state that allowed me to take control. Try this for a couple of weeks, and trust me, it can help transform your day, your week. And what you'll notice is that the more you start doing this, the more you wake up feeling calm, collected. That's not to say that you won't feel anxiety, but what you are doing is when you wake up, you're not just lying there. You know, you're actively, you know, you have a plan. You know, you're going to get up and you're going to take some time to, like, you know, calm yourself down and think and be mindful and be in the moment. Take it from someone who suffered with anxiety for 2 years. This process really helped me take control of it, to the point now where I don't actually have anxiety in the morning. So as I mentioned earlier, in the description box below, I've put a link that allows you to download a PDF that I've created for you guys. It's a 7-day template to practice the 3 exercises that I mentioned in step 4. And it can start helping you build a routine that works for you. Use it as a guide, or use it, you know, as I've provided it. Think about the things that work for you, try different things, and then create your own routine. You know, all I can say is, you know, you can make the time, and it's so important that you do, because until you do, you're not going to be in control of that. You know, if you're suffering from anxiety in the morning, you just know how, like, excruciating it can be. So, you know, I really hope this helps you start to think about how you can become more in control of it and what you can do for yourself. Talk to people around you. If, you know, in the mornings, you know that you need help, and, you know, by them just kind of, you know, staying away for an hour or so, you know, people will understand these things. It's really hard to understand anxiety, so don't expect them to get it 100%, but just, like, say to them, look, I'd really appreciate it for, you know, for the first hour after you wake up, like we wake up, you know, just let me be, and when I'm ready, you know, in a position to come and talk to you, I will. And, you know, say it in a way that they understand that, you know, you don't mean any harm by it, that you just want that time for yourself in the morning. And I think with this lockdown situation that we've all found ourselves in over the last year, you know, it's so important to set boundaries and, you know, talk to other people about how you're creating space, you know, for yourself. And that doesn't mean that the rest of the day you're not going to talk to them. It's just that at this point in time, you know, you need the time, space, you know, to reserve your energy for yourself. So I hope some of these things help. I can only just share what's really helped me, and I hope some of what I've said today just gets you thinking. You know, maybe try some of the things I've mentioned. If you want to discuss further some of the exercises that I've mentioned, like, let's chat in the comments or DM me on Instagram. As you can tell, like, I'm really passionate about this, because I know, like, when I was suffering it, I just didn't know what to do. So, you know, I really hope that some of this stuff can really help you start making some changes. Thanks, guys, and I shall see you in the next video.